Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. I am Shane Davis, 20-year comic book veteran, and we're talking about the theft of the American comic book industry and the American comic book artists. This is coming from Yanzi, which she's not on stream today, so we're going to talk about this without her. But before we do, hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. So she brought this to my attention, and this is a My Little Pony comic artist, Andy Price, talking about or at first it started with him responding to somebody talking about this awesome hoodie that happened to be their artwork, Andy Price's artwork, that you could buy at Hot Topic for, I guess, $64. There's that. And this turns out that it's lifted from a piece of artwork that my understanding, unless somebody correct me if I'm wrong, they were commissioned to do. Now, that means by a private buyer, not My Little Pony, not Hasbro. This is probably a commission they did themselves. Could be at, say, a Comic-Con, could be a private commission. But it is a My Little Pony, and that artwork had been grabbed and then sold, obviously, by Hot Topic. Now, Hot Topic can't just go make ponies stuff to sell. They have to get the license from the person who owns My Little Ponies. And this becomes like a really gray area. Here's Andy Price. The original post has been deleted. They were saying Hot Topic is cooking with fire. And he said, what they cooked is fucking direct lift of my artwork. There is no capitalism without theft. I guess, in his opinion, he wasn't paid by Hot Topic or whoever owns My Little Pony. Is that Hasbro? Is that Mattel? He was not paid by IDW or anybody that was publishing those books. Now, I can say, because I knew some comic artists who had worked on My Little Pony, and I'm not going to name names, but they actually have really bad deals, meaning that they don't get paid any type of royalties at all. So if My Little Pony was ever printed in any type of trade or anything like that, they only got paid. They got nothing. It didn't matter. No royalties whatsoever, which is really unheard of in the American comic book industry. It was just part of the license deal, I guess, or at least that's what they were told by the publisher with the toy, the person that hold the license. I looked at them like, so why are you doing it if it doesn't even, the page rates suck, you don't get paid a royalty? And they're like, well, look at the line that's lined up at my Comic Cons. I sell tons of original art, the commissions, all of that money just from working on the book. And, you know, they had the whole bronies lining up and all that. But that's not the point of this video. And there's another situation that kind of exercises this. This is a guy who did a mod for a video game, I guess, from 2024. This was a Batman mod he made, a skin for Hellbat. Now, I want to say there was a Hellbat design in a comic that Pat Gleason had drawn, and I think there was actually a McFarlane toy. Now, what's happening here is this artist did this mod for a video game for free, and Hot Toys is basically kind of incorporated more of their design for the mod in the video game, which this character never appeared in the video game aside from his mod. And this is Batman Arkham Origins, which I'm assuming is the game that he did the mod for. Although this character design is in the comic Hellbat, which influenced the mod, you can tell that the actual design of this is closer to the mod in the game, which this guy was never Starman here. Nobody contacted him. I'm not trying to send people after him, but he wasn't ever paid for this mod. I mean, I'm sure he put it out there or something like that. Maybe somehow you could buy it from him. I don't know. But the point of this video is, like, the companies actually own the work, whether they pay for you or not. I don't know if people understand this, right? If I go and I draw Batman and I put it up on the internet, DC Comics actually owns that. Do they have the rights to print it and stuff by me? No, but they have the rights to the character. Technically, I can draw the character, but I can't take money for it. Now, this is where it gets muddy. The minute I do a commission with somebody, if somebody commissions me to do Batman, and this has been talked about before, it's just Marvel and DC has never really cracked down on it. But if I take money from you to draw you a Batman, I technically broke a law. That's theft. I don't own Batman, and I basically just sold Batman. Now you could argue I sold my artwork, which I did, but I didn't have the rights from DC Comics to actually take money and sell Batman. So this becomes the situation: do two wrongs make a right? And I'm going to go back to Andy Price over here. And unless I'm being fed misinformation, this piece on the pony thing was a commission. I'm assuming Price got paid for the commission. Did he have the rights to sell My Little Pony? Did he have written permission to do that? Yes, it's wrong that they took his artwork and put on a hoodie. I'm not disagreeing with that. But this becomes a situation of two wrongs. Okay, maybe he was in the wrong legally to sell a My Little Pony commission, and therefore, they can do wrong too, which is take his artwork from that commission. Somebody does a high scan of it, it gets up on the internet, it's there for grabs. They own My Little Pony, and they're able to print it. And this is an interesting situation that I'm not going to pull it up, but this was the case with the Ghost Rider creator that was suing Marvel for Ghost Rider, for the rights of Ghost Rider. Marvel hit him back with a countersuit for selling Ghost Rider prints at Comic Cons or appearing at Comic Cons, saying he's the creator of Ghost Rider. And that's the thing. Like, there's this, I don't know, thin ice that everybody walks on at Artist Alley at every con. And whenever somebody's selling a corporate character or something they don't own the intellectual property to, whether it be Ghostbusters, Transformers, Superman, Batman, anything that you recognize, gargoyles, it doesn't matter. Unless they have written permission, they're actually breaking the law. So why is this never cracked down upon? Well, because in a lot of ways, the companies kind of see it as like, hey, that's advertising for our brand. Look around. We didn't spend $1 to set up here at this con. But there's Batman all through Artist Alley. There's Demon Slayer. There's whatever. There's popular IP all over this con. And we did not have to, one, pay the con. We did not have to fly any staffers out here. We did not have to print banners. We did not have to buy expensive, I'm talking like upwards 5-figure booth space at this con. We didn't have to do advertising for our appearance at this con. We did not have to print and sell exclusives that maybe we would break even on. There are so many reasons that the companies look the other way on this. But it also makes you wonder, do people understand that they're even looking the other way on this when you're setting up at these cons and you're selling these commissions? I really feel like the average comic creator doesn't understand, or just guy making mods on the internet, that you really don't have the permission of the companies to make a Batman, period. And especially if you're trading it for money. And if you do make Batman, do know, and even if you name it your version of Batman, that they call it Hellbat in the comic, and you're selling as, this is my mod for Hellbat. Okay, first, you don't own Hellbat. And yeah, you came up with a design, but that doesn't mean that Hot Toys can't just lift it and run with it. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm no big fan of corporate America. I'm not out here defending Marvel or DC. I just feel like the average guy out there doesn't understand that who actually owns these IPs. And if you're going to put your idea, your great idea or great design of Superman or Batman, I see tons of people doing this now trying to get traction. Here's my redesign of Justice League. It's the dumbest fucking thing you can do. And I'm going to tell every artist this. It's the dumbest thing you can do, because you're giving away free ideas and free designs to Marvel and DC Comics. One, they didn't solicit you. Two, you put it out there on the internet for free. All they have to do is just scrape it, redesign it a little bit. There they go. They don't owe you a fucking thing, period. And you basically put it out there and gave it to them for free. They don't owe you. And good luck going to court with them to sue them for that. Because in the end, they own these characters upside and down up until they become public domain. So I don't even understand the calling foul on this in a lot of ways. I mean, maybe this will become a big internet trend. I could actually see this becoming a big thing. because I see so many people putting up their designs of these characters. I could see people out here barking like, "Hey, where's my money? Like, how dare you steal from me and make a hoodie of a character that I have no rights to legally whatsoever?" And at the best, here's the sad part of this. At the best, what you're looking at is maybe $300 to $500. That's it. When these guys own the license and they're going to put it on a t-shirt, it's a standard DC Comics standard licensing fee of a few $100. It's not negotiable unless you somehow work that into your work for hire agreement. Most people at DC Comics are only seeing a few $100. That's it. And that's a one-time fee, meaning that same image could be on a hoodie, a sweater, a fleece jacket, a pair of tennis shoes. They only owe you a few $100 one time. So it's not really that much money. It's not. Is it worth the argument? Probably not. I would advise a lot of young creators to quit doing redesigns of your favorite superhero at Marvel and DC and posting it online, because you're basically putting yourself in a position of never getting paid for the use of your design. You're better off just making things you own. It's a better use of your time, period. I understand you're doing this to try to gain an audience, but it's a high risk, low reward. I'll tell you why. Gaining that audience, unless they turn into customers, it's whatever. One of the worst feelings you can have as a comic artist is seeing something you did monetized in a storefront on a product and really not getting paid for it. It's a really bad feeling, and I hate to see it happen to people. I do think also on the other end of this, a lot of comic artists should really understand the thin ice you're walking on. Sean Gordon Murphy, I think maybe 10 years ago, went into on social media onto a rant, had legal advice thrown in here to a point where he said, which I doubt he practices today, that he wouldn't ever sell a print of corporate-owned character, and he wouldn't even do commissions or take commissions of corporate-owned characters because illegally he doesn't have the rights to do that. Now, I doubt he practices that today, but that you can go track that information down. I mean, it tracks back. Artist Alley only exists in the fact that you can do commissions of these corporate-owned characters just because they don't care to send lawyers after you. It doesn't mean that you're well within your rights to do that. If you guys will hit like, subscribe, ring the bell for notification. Also, I want to bring up that we do our own comics over here at Nine Lives Comics. You can get a copy of Annatomic over here. This is our campaign we're going to be bringing down middle of October. Also, we have books in our store that ship out next day. So go check those out. Inglorious Rex, I'm sure you'll love it if you like kaiju, if you like MMA. Starlight Cats is our book for all ages kids. You can scroll them in the link down below, and I'll leave you guys with a trailer for Annatomic coming down middle of October.
If fighting was a god, I would worship him. I would bow to him. I would pray for victory. For he only grants opportunities. But behind every god lurks a devil. And the devil wants me to take a dive. My name is Annatomic. And this is how my legend was made.